This is Glambition Radio, episode number 264, with the First Lady of Tequila, Bertha González Nieves.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Welcome to Glambition Radio. I am your host, Allie Brown. I'm an entrepreneur, mentor, investor, and founder of The Trust, the modern premier network for 7- and 8-figure women leaders. I love thinking big, doing different, and exploring ideas that disrupt the status quo, especially when it comes to women, because we are creating the new models for leadership, business success, making money, and changing the world. And hey, we're doing it with style. So let's go. I'm about to introduce you to not only a whole new world of tequila, but the most powerful woman in tequila. She's one of the most 50 powerful women in Mexico. She is the first and only woman to be accredited as a maestra tequilera by the Academia Mexicana de Catadores de Tequila. And her tequila, Casa Dragones, is really good. I know because she sent me some. And I'm like, Brett, this isn't the usual stuff we drink. I think many of us in our past decades, especially when you get to a certain age, we've had some bad tequila nights. We've had some, bad tequila. We associate it with margaritas and fruity drinks. And there is a whole other world of fine tequila that you sip. And, I'll share, I used to be really a wine girl until I'd say a few years ago, it really started affecting my metabolism. Brett and I were having a little too much every night. It just went down too easy. I was putting on the pounds. And I decided, what if I just get a really, nice tequila and sip one little glass a night just to kind of take the edge off, which is kind of just what I wanted. I didn't want to chug a liquid. I wanted just a little something to have a little ceremonious end to the day. And that's how my learning a bit more about tequila started. So I've discovered some nice ones, but nothing like Casa Dragones. And to find this amazing woman behind it and the paths that she has paved in the industry that is extremely male dominated, and learn more about the exciting heritage. And there's just so much I want to bring you with this interview. I'm so excited you're listening. But first, a shout out to 2 great reviews my team pulled for me from Apple Podcasts. The first is Crystal AZ to Chicago. She says, "This is my favorite podcast, always real. As a business owner and mom, I can relate to Allie. She's so real, draws out the best nuggets of advice from all her interviews. Always look forward to a new episode." Thank you, Crystal. And the next says, "Pure badassery" from K3L50123 from New Zealand. I think that's your handle, if I read it correctly. "When you get the sexiest, smoothest female podcasting voice and quality business know-how and fearless leadership, you get Allie's pure badassery straight to your ears." I love that. When I take my pig for a walk, and that's not a joke, I'm a vegan who lives in rural New Zealand, I pop into Allie's podcast, and by the end of every walk, I honestly feel like I can now be the most kick-ass entrepreneur ever. This is my fave new show. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you have a pet pig, you should check out our guest speaker for the fall meeting of the Trust, because she has a very large pet pig. It's Ellen Marie Bennett, and you've heard her on the show before. I had her as a guest. She has a new book out called Dream First, Details Later, and we're so excited to bring her to our event in September. Jointhetrust.org. If you've been thinking about joining us, now would be the time to look into it so you can join us in September. And she's excited to come down. Also, a quick reminder that my event Iconic is happening November 3rd and 4th here in Phoenix. I am having this, whether it's monkeypox, killer hornets, or whatever's coming up next. If it's illegal to have it, I'm having it. So come on down, ladies. It's time to gather and really think about how we can make our next chapters the most iconic of our careers. A lot of transitions happening right now. A lot of people looking at making changes. There's an exciting undercurrent to all the dark chaos on the surface. And I invite you into the doors of the rooms I lead, where we focus on power and possibility and creating new worlds for ourselves and our peers and our families. Just the conversations are mind-blowing. If you'd like to learn more about that, iconicwithallybrown.com. And I'm also hosting some great conversations on Instagram over the next few weeks with some incredible women I would call iconic on some topics you would be very interested in. So make sure on Instagram you are following me there. That's where I'm most active, Allie Brown Official. And on there, you will see me posting some beautiful unboxing of the boxes of Casa Dragones Tequila. Just stunning packaging. I'm big on things that you can touch and feel, and the beauty of packaging and the beauty of how something is presented. It adds to its value. And just receiving these stunning boxes and bottles that she sent to me, I was blown away. So you definitely want to go see those, if nothing else, on Instagram, Allie Brown Official. And now it's time to talk tequila with Bertha González Nieves. Bertha, I'd like to know where you are today.
Today, I'm in New York City.
And is that where you're based now?
I am based between New York and Mexico City and Tequila, Jalisco.
Mm-hmm.
And I am doing those kind of that triangle on a regular basis.
Wow. Can we go back and talk about, a bit about your career? I know that you've had many evolutions, haven't you? And I'd love to kind of start with the journey, because a lot of people don't understand the person, you've become, where that started.
Well, I was born in Mexico City and all my family is there. And I did high school and university in Mexico City. I studied business administration. And growing up in Mexico City, by the time I got to university, I had already started a bunch of different small little ventures, if I could even call them ventures, but small businesses.
Like what?
Like every year I tested something new. And I think now, looking in retrospect, I think I was very comfortable and loved the idea of having an idea and actually executing it. So I had a business. One is a card business for, holiday cards and birthday cards, because I was starting to go to the store finding something cool. And I could never find something that really kind of like represented what I wanted. So I decided to hire a cartoonist, and a friend of mine had a printing house. And I started my own card business. And like that, I can tell you I did that. I did a business of landscaping for the holidays, which was a great idea, complicated to execute, but it was a good business. I also did sales in my neighborhood of wines. And I did all these kind of direct mailers for my neighborhood, and then, sold holiday gifts. There was wines and these very beautiful Asian baskets. And like that, many more.
Mm-hmm.
I imported clothing from New York. I used to have a little kind of store, if you can call it a store, in my house. And I bought really very unique, beautiful clothing that I brought from New York, and I sold it in my house.
Oh, wow.
Again. So really tried to do a lot of different things. So I didn't even define entrepreneurship. I didn't, as I grew up, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. So the idea of thinking about a business and starting it, and really I think now looking in retrospect, for me, it was about the challenge, but also about independence.
And very personal businesses, weren't they? That's the very personal type gifts and services.
Yes, very, very personal. I think gifting and holiday celebration, the clothing that I brought, many of what I was importing was about wedding gowns, but not for the bride, but for women actually going to weddings or parties.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I saw the opportunity of doing a business in that particular occasion. And then when I entered to university, I did started working throughout all my university. And when I graduated from university, I started working in management consulting. I worked for Booz Allen for a couple of years as part of their marketing intensive group, doing a lot of projects for packaged goods, the top packaged good company in the world. And then I really wanted to do a master's degree. So I did a master's. I was obsessed of going to Northwestern, being the top, one of the top marketing program in the US, and the US being such a marketer in education, that I figured out a way to get first accepted, and then second to finance my degree, which was I had 2 different scholarships and then sold everything I had so I could make it work, and got a little bit of support from my parents. And so I did the master's degree in Northwestern in integrated marketing communications, taking most of my lessons out of Medill, the School of Journalism, and Kellogg, the School of Business. And when I graduated from there, I didn't tell you, but when I was in university in Mexico City, I was elected by the Japanese government to represent Mexico in a program in Japan. And I was in my early 20s, and I had the opportunity to be selected for this program, get a scholarship. And as part of the preparation for the program, I was invited to learn all about, obviously, Mexico's economy, our industries, our history, our folklore, and many other things, because the program was all about being a young ambassador from Mexico to Japan and participate in a lot of different debates and roundtables and speak on behalf of Mexico. And so I got invited to go to Tequila, Jalisco for 3 days. And after the second day, I called my parents and I say, I know what I want to do. I want to go into the tequila industry. And my parents were like a little bit shocked. And they knew, since I had already done all these different businesses, that if it got into my heart, it was going to be difficult to convince me to try something else. But they also thought, she's young. This is going to be the flavor of the month. She's going to fall in love with something else. Mm-hmm. And, here we are. It's been the flavor of the month for many, many years.
The flavor of the lifetime. Yeah. Yes. So what was it about tequila? The history, the culture around it? Tell me. So I really started to fall in love with the production process, the plant itself, agave azul, tequila Weber, these beautiful, endless, the landscape is extraordinary. And then the craft it takes for the production of tequila. And then the spirit itself, the role it plays in Mexican culture, and the role that tequila plays in how people around the world see our country through tequila. And that as a whole, tequila is part of the social fabric of Mexico. It's part of the Mexican table. We drink tequila as a family. We celebrate with tequila with our friends. We cry with tequila when things are not going well. Like, it's really part of how we live life, how we connect with people. And then internationally, when you talk about Mexico and you say, tell me 5 things you know about Mexico, most often than not, people are going to say tequila. Yeah. So the opportunity to showcase and to promote the Mexico that I have in my heart, the Mexico that I grew up in, the richness of our culture, the effervescence of our history, the strong creativity that you see in film, in architecture, in design, in the culinary world. Mexico is very rich in culture. And I want to make sure that we're showcasing that window of Mexico that is full of craftsmanship and full of professionalism. And also, I fell in love with the idea of showcasing, that tequila has the history, the best practices. Mexico has a professionalism to be able to compete with other very well-established spirits, from whiskey to single malts to cognacs, and showcase that, yes, we can compete, and we can't compete at the top level of the luxury segment in our industry. So yeah, there's many areas of why I fell in love with that category, and why I'm continuously still in love with it, and still learning every day, and still, to me, having the opportunity to be part of the tequila producers that are shaping the industry for the future, and that are really advancing the agenda for our appellation of origin, and leaving the category more advanced for the next generations that are going to come in and dedicate their careers to the tequila category or to agave spirits in general in Mexico. That, for me, doing that for the next generation of entrepreneurs or executives, I feel very passionate about that. That's your legacy play with this. That's the cool part of it. Now, you worked within other companies as you learned about tequila, correct? And what did you notice there maybe that led to decisions you made today?
Well, first, as soon as I started working in the tequila industry, the love was just in crescendo. The love for the category, the increase, the appetite for learning, and the surprising of the category, on a regular basis, on the beauty of it. I think that always left me wanting more. It left me wanting more. Like, I started in the Mexican market, then I have the opportunity to do global positions, both in global marketing, global innovation, commercial roles, and really understanding all the areas of the business. So I think I can't pinpoint one or another thing, but actually having for me to work in this company, which is one of the eldest tequila producers, one of the leaders of our industry. The history of the company is the history of the tequila category. I worked for the Beckman family, who at that time, and continue today, is a family-owned business, owned some of the most well-known tequila brands in the world. So really, it was really a privilege to be able to work for a company that has really, that I could learn the business from within, and that I confirmed really my passion and my interest on really carrying on and doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm. When was the moment you knew that you wanted to create your own brand? That's a big leap.
So when I graduated from Northwestern, I really wanted to live internationally, but I was I did a lot of introspection, and tequila was still top of mind. So I went and knocked on the doors of the industry, started working in, as I told you, for a little bit more than 10 years for this family. And while I was there, at the tail end of my tenure there, I started to get the entrepreneurial itch. Having done so many entrepreneurial things growing up, that I invested in a company, Editorial Mapas, that was going to introduce a new magazine in Mexico City, and I wanted to be part of the team. So it was a hybrid of New York Magazine and The New Yorker and Time Out, kind of like for Mexico City. And the excitement of doing something that had never been done in editorial, from a content perspective to the listings of the things that were listed there, it was really revolutionary. And so I did that as a passion project outside of my job, and that kind of like reminded me excited me about surfing the wave, the entrepreneurial wave. And then I co-invested I participated in a team that produced a film in Mexico that ended up being the third largest grossing film, to learn the business, and a great film called Matando Cabos. And again, I was getting into someone else's project made in Mexico. I learned a lot. And then that suddenly the light came on saying, this is great. I know I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. I know I'm very passionate about Mexico, but my true passion is tequila. And if I'm going to become an entrepreneur in anything, it's going to be in tequila. And then I really started obsessing about how do I do this, and really started really thinking I really would like to do this, but you don't have everything ordered in your brain, when you are going to become an entrepreneur. And as I was really thinking about this, I went to a party in Brooklyn and met in the house of some friends of ours that were celebrating their 20th year anniversary. And suddenly I'm in this party and I'm talking to Bob Pittman, the founder of MTV. So that gave me my background. I was already living in New York. I had already been in the tequila industry for 10 years, but 8 years based in New York, going back and forth to Mexico. I opened, together with other executives, that global marketing office in New York, and did a lot of global work, then became global director of innovation and so on. So when I met Bob, I gave him my background. He's like, really? Well, I've always wanted to start a tequila company. And I said, really? Well, I've always wanted to start a company in the tequila industry and be an entrepreneur. So I didn't know if it was bar talk or not.
Right.
But next day, his secretary emailed me and say, Mr. Pittman can meet with you on this and this date. I confirmed the meeting. I put my best suit on and went to the meeting. And that's how it all started. Wow.
And he helped fund it.
Well, he's my co-founder.
Okay. That's right.
He's my co-founder, and he definitely, we spoke for a while, obviously. And for me, obviously, taking this step was really important. I am a self-made woman, so I don't have any kind of I don't have the capital to take a risk. I depend on my regular income. So that step that needed to take need to be really, there was going to be a lot of uncertainty. I really had to plan it properly. But we really, since day one, I realized that his respect for Mexico, at that time, he had 2 houses in San Miguel de Allende. When I went to visit him as one of our meetings prior to partnering to his house in San Miguel, I walked in, and it's one of the most beautiful homes in Mexico, decorated with an elegance, Mexican elegance to the, like really understanding the culture, which to me was really important. And really, we saw eye to eye where the opportunity was. He really believed in, really showcasing tequila in the most quality way and really appealing to the tequila lover, the connoisseur, and taking risks in doing something truly extraordinary rather than really just building a marketing story. We wanted to compete with product be the king of, or the hero of our company. And once we knew that we had same values and that we, really were excited about that trajectory in the business plan, that's when, a little bit before doing a business plan, but that's when I took the leap. And that's how it started, and having the opportunity to partner with an entrepreneur of his background, starting in TV at a very young age, and his trajectory in general. He is one of the most, I feel so fortunate to have partnered with him. He's a true entrepreneur that has really expanded my way of seeing things and taught me so much and challenged me so much. I think as entrepreneurs, you really need to be aligned with people that are really going to tell you what they think, whether you like it or not, and are really going to challenge and are really going to see areas of the business that you may not be able to see. So Bob has been really an incredible partner and someone that believed in me and believed in me even at times where I was not sure about my own, I was doubting, because an entrepreneur, you're always constantly, you walk on the edge and you see kind of like the fall is very present. So you are aware that, a bad decision or a bad outcome could be game over for the venture. So there are times where, I think he believed in me more than I believed in myself. So it's been great to have such an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Let's talk about the marketing. I found it fascinating that you decided to launch the initial expression of the brand was the Joven brand, which is your high end, right? That's the luxury. That's the top one. Yes. Why did you choose to go in the luxury category of tequila?
When we started, we decided that we're going to compete with quality and craftsmanship. And we didn't necessarily say we're going to start at $275. But we said we're going to produce the best product we can bring to market. And we're going to do one thing and we're going to do it well. We believe in the power of focus. So rather than trying to do, most people come into the category and come with 3 expressions off the bat. Right. When I respect that, everybody has to choose their own route. But for us, since we truly believe in the power of focus and we want to be selling craftsmanship, quality, and taste, we thought if we do one thing and we do it really well, then we have a chance to truly build a name for ourselves. It's a higher, more inclined hill, but we are, but we were determined to do it that way. And by the time we had our product, our tequila, and our packaging and our name and our branding and everything, and, we built our business, we ended up really entering at the higher end of the luxury segment. But we believe so much in our product that we decided to do it through that door, which is not the most regular door that people coming into the category.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought that was very calculated. So that's interesting. I thought you may have seen.
We knew we were going luxury.
Yeah.
But we did end up going at the higher end of the luxury segment. So at the beginning, we launched in late 2009 in the middle of a, tremendous crisis, economical crisis. In the US and, and obviously Mexico. So we started selling, and when we started selling, to retailers and on-premise accounts, they looked at me and they say, you speak great English, your product is incredible, but are you reading the news? I mean, are you really sure you want to build a business at this price point? I mean, are you aware of what's going on? And so for the first years, we counted in bottles because counting in cases was really depressing. But we learned a lot. We learned a lot from being on the street, from being with our clients, from selling one product, and from getting the support and the belief of our clients on the product in particular. And then really starting to build our business and understanding how to build our business by doing one thing and doing one thing well. Selling Mexican craftsmanship. We really wanted to do a packaging that really transmitting, we're delivering a true sipping tequila that can pair well with food and can actually compete with other sipping spirits. We wanted to prove that tequila can be sipped like a cognac or a whiskey. We also wanted to prove that tequila can actually be not only a great companion to Mexican cuisine, but also a great companion to international cuisine. So from our packaging to our liquid to our occasion, by coming in through that door and learning how to do that and building the belief of the trade and of the consumer set, we learned a lot on the journey, on the house that we are building, on the foundation, on our values. And after 5 years of selling our Joven, our clients and our friends were saying, we love your sipping tequila, but you're very strict. But you don't let us, serve it on the rocks, do a margarita or a cocktail, put it in the freezer or in the refrigerator, the things we love to do with tequila. So when are you going to do something of the versatility of the category with the quality of Casa Dragones? And that's when we thought that the right next step for us was to deliver a Blanco tequila that is focused on exposing and celebrating the purity of our agave and our water through an ultra-modern process, as we are trying to be part of the tequila producers that are pushing the conversation of tequila production into the future and use sustainable and modern processes. And we started also by, really being 3 years in, we really had the time to innovate. We want to make sure that within our experience as entrepreneurs, we understand what are some of the activities of our business that inspire us a lot, that really is the gasoline of our soul. And being able to innovate, being able to go back to the drawing board, being able to really think, what is the next label and expression we're going to bring to market, and dedicate our time to innovation is part of why we became entrepreneurs in the first place. So with the learnings we had in the marketplace, our Joven tequila, our sipping tequila, having a more established business, we were able to put our time and our dedication into innovation. And that's how, for our 50th anniversary, we introduced Casa Dragones Blanco.
Yeah.
And Blanco is a very beautiful everyday tequila. And it's it's an expression that's quite, for us, it's all about, we want to make sure that our tequilas are complementing the tequila set in taste and quality. We want to make sure that when you're sipping our products or drinking our products, the taste is unique, the quality is high, and the craftsmanship is really, speaking for itself in the product. So our Blanco is very green, very herbaceous, and it really has the profile of a product that is enabled us to have the same relationship we have with chefs, with Joven, but with Blanco, with mixologists. And having, really doing signature cocktails all over Mexico and the US, mixologists are really the chefs of the spirits industry. And really, for them to give life to different cocktails and ways of serving our product, it really talks to the complexity and balance that we've been able to deliver. So that's how Casa Dragones Blanco was born. It's our blue label.
Bertha, I have to jump in and say that it's so refreshing to hear someone talk so much about the quality and the craftsmanship in all this, because tequila right now seems just so much like a marketing game. Like you see, like everyone launches tequila, like movie stars, rappers. I mean, it's all over the place. So it's been such a delight to discover this brand and how high quality it is. Like just to hear the steps you took when you take incredible care and craft when you're going to release something new.
Yeah. I mean, I think that really as entrepreneurs, it's really the gasoline of our soul. And we want to build a house that will have longevity. We want to build a portfolio of products that has the opportunity of being classic, being the opportunity of being tequilas that can last the challenge of time. And making sure that we are celebrating our appellation of origin, that we are representing the 250 years of businessmen and businesswomen, entrepreneurs and investors that have dedicated their careers to this, so that we can have the baton of the, it's like a relay, right? You want to make sure that we are celebrating our appellation and that we are taking the name of Mexico to the highest level that we can. And, I remember when we won for the first time, there's called the Grand Prix of Lux in France. We won the award with Casa Dragones Joven. It's the first time in the history of packaged goods in Mexico that a Mexican brand actually has won the award.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. So man or woman, you were the first Mexican to do that.
Yes.
Wow.
I remember that moment, before us came Audemars Piguet, Chanel, Hermes, and many other, mostly European brands. And what I said in the speech is like, this is the first of many, of Mexican brands, because we have a very rich culture. We have really the gift of craftsmanship and the attention to detail. And we're a very creative culture. So there's no reason why that there shouldn't be more luxury Mexican brands. And for that, quality is what defines luxury. It's really, it's all about the experience. And we're very dedicated to that. And we want to make sure that when someone, really loves Casa Dragones, is because, the seduction is in the taste. The seduction is in the profile of the product, in the attention to detail, in the quality of what we do. And then, of course, in our packaging and in how we go to market and how we bring to life our tequila. So yes, craftsmanship and quality is really important to us.
Bertha, before I ask my final question, could you tell everyone anything else they should know about the tequila, where they can find it, anything else we should know about Casa Dragones?
I would say the last expression that we introduced last year during the pandemic is Casa Dragones Añejo, which is our third expression. And we were able to travel around the world looking for a cooperage. Cooperages are companies that do barrels for aging. And we really wanted to bring an añejo tequila that was going to be really elegant, less sweet than we find in the marketplace, and very complex. And a tequila añejo that can really compete with whiskeys in general. So we found a cooperage out of Bordeaux, and we custom made two different kinds of casks, one French oak, one American oak. And it's called Casa Dragones Barrel Blend. And it's really for, if you love aged spirits or aged tequila expressions, I think you're going to find in this product a very beautiful and very elegant expression.
And where can we buy this tequila? Is it most everywhere now that tequila is sold?
Yeah, you can buy Casa Dragones from our website and casadragones.com. And you can also buy it. Now we have distribution in the top retailers across the country. And if you can't find it, please email us or message us in social media, or email us from our website, and we'll happily answer in your state where you can buy our product.
Great. And Bertha, as a wrap up, can you share 3 great pieces of advice for all the women listening right now?
For all the women entrepreneurs listening right now, I would say find your passion and dedicate yourself to it. Become an expert, build your confidence. Second would be, business is made by people for people. So surround yourself with talent. Find your partners and your team, and really make sure that you're really building a talent network for you to be able to, have more probabilities of success. And build and grow a community. I think that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. Well, you have a new fan here. I want to be part of the Casa Dragones community, if I may.
Absolutely.
Huge new fan. Again, just so thrilled. I feel like we could do a whole part 2. There's so much more to talk about, but this was wonderful. And I just want to encourage everyone, if you like tequila at all, you have not tasted the real thing yet until you've tried this brand. It is so beautiful. Check out on Instagram. I showed the beautiful packaging, and it's just such a pleasure to get to know your product, and even more of a pleasure to get to know you, Bertha.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you for the work you do for entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs out there. Really appreciate it. And hopefully this will be interesting to the listeners. And I'm here for round 2 or 3.
Oh, right. Let's do it. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Glambition Radio. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you automatically get my new shows every week. Also, I'd love if you left us a review so more women like you can discover us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, and other major platforms. And I'd love to hear from you personally. Come join the conversation on social. Instagram is my happy place lately, and that's Ali Brown Official, but you can find links to my other platforms at alibrown.com. Glambition Radio is the elevated conversation for women leaders, and I'm honored you tuned in.